Jamie Raskin went off on Republicans today for their assault on a woman's right to choose, for their cheerleading of Russia and their invasion of Ukraine, their cheerleading of Vladimir Putin over Joe Biden. Essentially, Raskin just painted a succinct picture of just how atrocious the Republican Party has become.
But I want to talk about some of the other things that Americans are worried about. Since my colleague purported to speak for Americans, because I saw a poll recently saying that Americans are worried about the attack on democracy and voting rights. And part of that may be the fact that some of our colleagues seem to be ambivalent about whether or not to denounce the rampant violence that was unleashed against this institution, this body, on January 6, 2021, when thousands of rioters came and attacked our officers, wounding, injuring more than 150 of them, breaking their jaws, their necks, lost fingers, strokes, heart attacks, concussions, contusions. And of course, the former president says that his mob actually greeted the police with hugs and kisses. And so some of our colleagues shamefully have followed the former president in trying to whitewash the worst episode of domestic mass insurrectionary violence ever unleashed on the Capitol of the United States, with an attack on the Vice President, Mike Pence. And we heard those words, hang Mike Pence, bouncing off of the walls of the Capitol and against the Congress of the United States. So yes, people are worried about the state of our democracy, with so many members of the GOP following Donald Trump in not only his terrible big lie, the first time we've ever seen that in American history, but also the big lie encompassing this mob violence and this insurrection against the government of the United States. You know what else Americans are worried about? Americans are worried about now state politicians and federal politicians trampling the rights of women. For more than a half century, women have had a right to make their most intimate, procreative, and reproductive decisions with their families, with their husbands, with their partners, with their ministers, with their church leaders. And then they gerrymandered the Supreme Court. They kept Merrick Garland off the Supreme Court by not even giving him a hearing over on the Senate side. And then what do you know? They follow what the RNC was asking for in all their platforms for all of those years, overturn Roe versus Wade. And they overturned Roe versus Wade. And then we hear from our colleagues, well, we just want the states to decide. But yesterday, Senator Lindsey Graham unveiled what the real plan is, a nationwide criminal ban on abortion. And if they can go further in the states, they will go further in the states. And we got Republican proposals all over America to completely ban abortion from the moment of conception, which is the pro-life orthodoxy, which is life begins at conception. We heard it in the Judiciary Committee. We've heard it in the Oversight Committee. We've been hearing it for years, but now they have fallen strangely and demurely silent. And why is that? Well, part of it is because of the good people of Kansas, who showed them just where America is on this. America is a country committed to individual freedom and the rights of the people to make their own decisions, and not having busybody theocrat politicians in state capitals telling them how to make their own decisions about their careers, about their lives, about their families, and about their health care. And certainly not allowing Lindsey Graham to dictate to the women of America what their destiny will be. And they won't say a word about it. They'll talk about an SEC regulation nobody heard of that we're not here to talk about today. They'll blame Joe Biden for global inflation. They'll blame Joe Biden for Vladimir Putin's filthy imperialist invasion of Russia. I hear them denouncing Joe Biden. They won't denounce Vladimir Putin for 1 second. I'd happily yield a minute if they would denounce Vladimir Putin, but they won't do it. And we've heard people over on their side cheerleading for Vladimir Putin. I heard the gentlelady from Georgia say Russia wins. Guess what? Russia doesn't win. The people of Ukraine are winning today. And the people of America are with the people of Ukraine. And we're on the side of Democrats, small d Democrats all over the world, against the autocrats like Putin, against the theocrats, like people who would dictate to the women of America their own health decisions. We're against the tyrants and the bullies and the despots. We're against presidents who get into office and try to dictate the political decision-making of individual members of the workforce and try to push their ideological program into the government. And we're for defending whistleblowers, we're for defending the census, we're defending democratic institutions in America. And I'm just shocked that I hear from my good friend from Pennsylvania, someone I like, someone I trust, that he actually is defending Putin against Biden and blaming Joe Biden for Putin's long-running plan to invade Ukraine. I mean, that's a remarkable thing to me, and I hope we can have that clarified. I'll reserve.
Jamie Raskin there searing the GOP for just becoming a disgusting party that doesn't truly represent the people. They are a party who will do anything to try to get power, including attacking a woman's right to choose, which is clearly blowing back on them, as Jamie Raskin pointed out, with Kansas denying the state legislature the ability to dictate a woman's right to choose to have an abortion. Now, Jamie Raskin, of course, is an all-star, right? And the way he's able to poetically take down the GOP and how clever he is with his words is like just chef's kiss, right? Talking about busybody, theocratic politicians wanting to dictate the destiny of women. Just amazing. I would go further and say that, busybody, fascist, tyrannical, theocratic politicians. I think that's kind of a little more fair to describe the GOP. Now, I have other words to describe the GOP that would get this video demonetized, so we won't go there. But, if you guys want to maybe talk about them in the comments, if those words aren't blocked from my comment section, have at it. But this is just another great example. It's why I make videos on YouTube here. Moments like this, speeches like this by Jamie Raskin that point out the hypocrisy, the fascist tendencies of a political party, of a political party who wants to legitimize themselves in the eyes of the country and the world, but they cozy up to dictators like Vladimir Putin over that of their own president. They want their predominantly male group of politicians to decide for women how they get to live their lives. And that is just how ridiculous they have become. They are not a legitimate party. And speeches like this serve as a reminder of that. And for Jamie Raskin to do it so poetically and so brilliantly, so clever, is just amazing. And we're really lucky to be able to see a word craftsman like this do his thing.